than breast cancer.
I am more than gastric cancer.
I am more than Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 3.
I am more than Lynch syndrome.
I am more than metastatic male breast cancer.
I'm more than PMDD.
I am more than diabetes.
I am more than lupus.
I am more than FAP.
Welcome to More Than a Diagnosis. I'm Den.
And I'm Jess. This podcast is about so much more than cancer, chronic illness, or the labels we've been given. It's about reclaiming our lives, finding community, and thriving in ways we never thought possible.
Whether you're a patient, a caregiver, or just someone curious about what it means to live beyond a diagnosis, we're so glad you're here.
Something that I've realized after going through a cancer diagnosis is how over time support really changes and the way that people show up for you changes, and it takes some adjustments.
Right? Because in the beginning, everything is loud. There's so much going on. You're getting endless texts, lots of people offering homemade meals, checking in, lots of people showing up left and right.
Yes, exactly. But what happens when the crisis passes, but you're still living with the reality of it all? What happens when you're not actively in treatment, but you're also not back to who you were before either, and you still kind of need support?
Yes, all too often that support shifts and relationships, they evolve. Sometimes very quietly and sometimes painfully.
Yeah, it's so true, because in the beginning, I feel like, when you first get your diagnosis, no matter what it is, but in this case for me, it was my cancer diagnosis, and everybody finds out about it. It's like everybody's rushing in, and sometimes it's people that you haven't heard from in a really long time, and they find out that you have cancer, and they're there. They're sending you, DoorDash gift cards and offering help and asking if you have a wish list. And, there's someone who's like always checking in on you, whether they're checking in on you personally or through your family or through your mutual friends. It just feels like all eyes are on you.
Yeah. And then suddenly things are getting better in the sense of you're gone through treatment, but you're still left with a lot. And something shifts.
Yeah.
Is it because people don't like to see others sick? Is it because we want people to just be better? Is it just the length of time? What is it? What makes relationships shift?
Yeah.
Even though we still do need support.
Yeah, I think it's, we have this need for, I guess, what you would label acute care, right? When you're first diagnosed, you need to address that situation right then and there. We need somebody there to help us with meals. We need somebody there to give us rides. We need someone, there to do a fundraiser so that we can pay our bills because we can't go to work. It's like you need this right here, right now. There is an obvious need that can be filled. But then when you finish treatment and you're on the other side of the crisis, or when the dust has settled from a diagnosis, then that shifts from that acute care need to chronic care. And I feel like there's a shift in energy even that happens, right? Because with acute care, it's like our adrenaline kicks in and we're like, oh my gosh, this person has cancer. What can I do? It's a rush to fix and help. But then when the dust settles, it sometimes feels like, where did that support go? And I think maybe that's because people don't necessarily know how to show up, maybe? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I feel that maybe it's also part of it is the visual. At the beginning, when all that adrenaline is going, that acute illness, visibly shows.
Yeah.
Oftentimes when you're in that part, when you're throwing up and you've got those endless side effects, the neuropathy, you're weak, you're trying so hard to keep food down, all of that physically shows, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And so people react to what they see.
That's true.
And so once you're done with treatment, your body's not constantly getting, infused with all of these drugs that cause horrible symptoms, but you're now left with the aftermath. And so it looks different because you don't necessarily see it on someone's face.
Yeah.
But the inner struggle is still there. That physical struggle is still there, even though I'm not grimacing. So I feel that maybe people look at the visual appearance and say, well, they're not grimacing, they're not struggling, they don't have dark circles under their eyes the way they used to when they weren't hydrating and keeping food down. But those struggles have swapped with other struggles.
Yeah.
And we still, do need support. It just looks different. And I think maybe people don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Because those things have shifted for us, but what does that also look like when it comes to support? And a lot of times we don't even know what
I was just going to say, I was just literally just sitting here thinking, but it's hard because I think about the people who want to show up and who still want to support, but I don't always know how to ask for that support. I need it. And so I wonder, I was thinking about this morning before we started recording and like thinking about the things that, where support lies for me personally and how those things have shifted. And I feel like sometimes, yes, I still need physical support, but sometimes what I need is the emotional support. And that's not only is that hard to ask for, but it's also really hard for people who have never been in our shoes to know how to emotionally support us when that acute crisis has passed and we're in this chronic phase now. And they don't really know, they're still trying to figure out how to embrace us in this new version of us. And so maybe there's some hesitancy to be supportive because they don't know how.
I think there is. For example, I'm going to talk about my own story. So it's funny because not too long ago, actually, Ivan asked me, how can I support you? Because it got to the point where I was feeling crappy physically and emotionally. And, I'm snapping because I can't even stand myself.
Yeah.
And so I tend to get in a bad mood. And that's my signature feeling when I feel like I have no control and I feel crappy.
Yeah.
So he said to me, how can I support you? What can I do for you? And I really appreciated that because he really didn't know.
Yeah.
And for him to say, what can I do for you? And I didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know what I needed.
Yeah.
And so that was really interesting because oftentimes we're like, we need support. But then someone who's offering his support comes at me and says, well, how can I do for you?
Yeah.
Like, I want to support you. I'm here. I'm all in. But what and how can I support you? And I had no answer.
Yeah.
And then it made me even more angry.
Of course.
Because here he's trying to help. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm frustrated. And so then at that moment, I just burst into tears.
Yeah.
And he gave me a hug. And at that moment, that's
what you needed. Yeah.
It's wild because there's no wrong, right way. There's no rule book.
I was just going to say, there's no guide for here's how to support someone who needs support and they're not really sure what they need. And I think that that's where just maybe asking, how can I support you? And if they say, I don't know, don't shrink away.
Yeah. And I flat out told him, I get it. Like, I get in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate that you're still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know I can be mean, and if he were to turn away and not come back and ignore me, that would be understandable because,
sure,
I, pushed him away. But the fact that he understood how I felt and then came back meant a lot.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's easy to just say, oh no, bye, you figure it out. You were mean.
Yep. I think it's hard because when, you were talking about how when you're going through that acute phase, we're visibly ill, For me, it was losing my hair, losing my eyebrows. I looked jaundiced. I looked horrible, right? And so it was obvious that I was unwell. But the challenge comes when our symptoms persist, but they're invisible. Because now I have a head full of hair, I have my eyebrows, I have my color back. It's been, 3 years since diagnosis, 2 years since active treatment, and I look fine. I look good. People tell me you look so great. Your hair looks amazing. If I wear makeup, wow, you look like you're glowing, And so when we don't look sick, I think the assumption is that we're okay and that we don't need help anymore, which then leads to us isolating and really feeling that loneliness. And so to then have someone reach out and say, hey, how can I support you? I see that you're having a hard time, or I hear that you're struggling. I want to support you. What does that look like? Because we don't always present on the outside the way that we feel on the inside.
No, we don't. And, oftentimes, how do you tell someone who just says, hi, how are you doing? Your whole life story in the, 2 minutes?
Yes.
That's just so much to unload. And I feel like, I don't know, a part of it, maybe, at least from my own, feelings, I don't want to burden that person.
Yeah.
With this whole, story when I got diagnosed years ago. And, well, here I am, years later, still struggling with the aftermath from all of that.
Yes.
So I'm not necessarily better or all good. I am just learning how to navigate life.
Yes.
With these new symptoms.
Yeah.
And so the aftermath, it's there whether people see it or not.
Yep.
But I think that we also, acute care looks one way. It may look like meals. It may look like, picking up your kids from school because you can't drive. But I still need to feel less lonely because now that I look physically okay, but my insides are still falling apart and barely hanging on. I don't know how to spit the words out.
Yeah.
I'm a mess and I need you.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah. And it's hard. I feel like it's hard for both sides because we don't always know what we need and they don't know always how to show up for us. And I think that while what support looks like shifts, I think that in our case, sometimes that practical help, while it's not always needed because, yes, I cook dinner almost every day and I go grocery shopping and I do those things, it doesn't mean that that's not at a cost to me. And so sometimes that practical help still is welcomed. It's just not needed as much as it was before. And so, if that means somebody's like, hey, I see that you're having a rough week. Can I get you dinner? Can I bring you dinner? Or can I go run that errand for you because I know that you've had a tough time? But I feel like that also goes back to that when you were saying about when someone asks you, how are you doing?
Yeah.
We get to decide how much of that we share and who we share that with. Because I don't know about you, but I struggle with answering that question, even to maybe my friends who, like, maybe I'm not the closest with them. Like, we don't talk every single day, but they kind of know what's going on in my life. And I struggle with, do I really tell them what's going on in my life? Do I really tell them how hard it's been and how much I've struggled and having to be on this injection once a month and still having to go to the doctors and still navigating what this chronic illness that I'm dealing with looks like, plus the perimenopause, plus like all these other things that are still happening? Do I unload all of that on them? Like, it's a hard... I don't always know which way to go.
Exactly. Because, see, with acute issues, there's an end.
Yes.
With chronic issues, it's now the aftermath. It's that pain that won't go away. Has not gone away for months. And chances, likelihood of them going away are slim. This could be a new normal.
Yes.
And so that's a lot to process. That's a lot to explain.
Yes.
That's a lot to...
Yes. I know.
You remember that stuff I went through, like, you know, where you helped me with meals and all that? Thanks, that was great. But so because of all of that, now I have to deal with all of this. And this may be here to stay for good.
Yes.
So, you know, how do I put that into words without feeling extra guilty?
It's so hard. I just had this happen last week where I had reached out to a friend that I hadn't talked to in months. And I just wanted to check in. It had been a long time. But she didn't know, because she's not on TikTok, you know, she's hardly on socials. So she didn't know that I have still been having all these health issues. And so when I like hinted at it, I didn't even like go into the full thing. And it was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea that you were, you know, and then I found myself, okay, how much more do I go into this? And how much do I just deal with this? So then that leads me to think, how many people who are living with chronic illness are just silently dealing?
Because you're trying to protect that person who you're speaking to.
Yeah. And protect yourself too.
Yes, that too.
Because you're tired of being, well, at least I can speak for myself. I'm tired of being the one who's always sick. I'm tired of being the one who's always tired, who's always in pain, who doesn't really have anything new to contribute as far as how are you doing. I can't just be like, I'm great. I feel so good. I ran a marathon last week. That's not my reality, right? No. So I'm tired of myself. I'm tired of feeling that way. And I know that the person who loves me, who's like checking in on me, well, they're also, I don't want to say they're tired of me, because I don't think that that's what it is. But it's hard to not feel like they're tired of hearing that I'm sick.
Right. It's because this situation is never changing.
Yeah.
It's the same situation.
Yes.
It's, like I say, same crap, different day.
Exactly. Yep.
That's the best way to describe it.
Uh-huh.
Same crap, different day.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do we decide what we share and what we don't share, and who we share that with and who we don't share that with? Because I don't know about you, but for me, authenticity is so important to me. it is one of my values, right?
Yep.
And so when someone asks me how I'm doing, it feels so inauthentic, and I feel like a big fat liar when I'm like, I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there.
Wait, I'm laughing because a thought just popped into my head. Have you ever been in the situation where someone asks you how you're doing and you've gauged the situation, you think you've analyzed it all, and you're like, okay, this is a safe person. I think I can actually tell them how I feel. And then you spit, all your brain, blood, guts, and heart out. And then you realize by looking at their face that you shouldn't have done all that because now you don't know how to backtrack because they've got this face and you're just like, oops.
Yep. It's like you're saying more and it's all coming out and it's coming out like word vomit and their eyes are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and you're like, oh, oops.
Yep.
I guess maybe I shouldn't have said that. Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to know that I haven't slept more than a couple hours consistently for months and months on end, and that I'm in pain every day. And should I keep going? No, I won't.
Exactly.
No, I won't. And I feel bad for them because what do you say to something?
And I get it. It doesn't even offend me. I get it. Because then I'm like, yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
I did. Yep.
I think that's where what I recognize is that, okay, the acute care phase, it's helpful, it's needed, it's necessary, it's easier, and it lives on the surface. The chronic care becomes a quieter, deeper kind of support. Yep. Because those roots are stronger. Because that person, when you do spill all your guts to them and tell them how horrible things have been, and even at that point, you're probably still holding back. But they sit in it with you in that moment and they say, wow, I'm so sorry that you're still dealing with that. I'm so sorry. That's got to be so hard. Is there anything I can do to support you through this? How can I show up for you? And I don't know about you, but when I hear that and I see and feel that they're in it with me through it all, even if I'm still on this train that I cannot seem to get off of, that kind of support means so much to me, because even when I can't say this is what I need, just knowing that they're there to say, that sucks. That kind of care goes so far.
I feel that chronic care also shows who your true friends are.
Oh, absolutely.
Because chronic care, like we've mentioned a gazillion times, is never ending. It's you're in for the long haul. So these friendships, these people who will flat out say, I don't know what to do. Who are just plain honest.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. They tell you they don't know what to do, yet they want to help you figure out what it is you need, even if you don't know.
Yes.
Let's figure it out together.
Yeah.
This sucks. You may not know what you need, but I'm not going anywhere. That right there, that's a lifelong friend.
Absolutely. Because they're with you through whatever chapters. They're not just there for the good times. And I think that is something, I think it was last season that we did the episode When Friends Disappear, and how getting diagnosed with such a major diagnosis that is life-altering, life-changing, it really does show you who your friends are. And there is loss in that, and there is a lot of grief in that because, like we talked about, people stop showing up, people quietly ghost and disappear. But those friends who shift and morph and change and grow with you over time, there's nothing like that. No. And I think I need to add also that the situation that I find myself in, dealing with chronic illness, post-cancer diagnosis, I have found that being in community and being with folks who are also in the thick of it has created this sense of support that I don't know that I could find anywhere else. And that I find myself showing up for my friends in community who are also going through it, and I don't always know what to offer because my well is running dry, and maybe we're at a distance from each other. You know, maybe we live hours or, miles, plane rides away. So there's limited ways that I can be helpful to those friends who are also in the thick of it. But I think just knowing that they get it, them knowing that I get it, that means so much.
There's something beautiful about a group of people who have so much going on, yet are still present to support each other. There's something so beautiful about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're all dealing with our own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Different levels of bad.
Mm-hmm.
Every day looks different, but we're still there. And even if we're not showing up on the daily, we know those people have our backs.
Yeah.
And those are the people where they just know. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to explain anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing I feel like we should talk about. It's okay to give yourself permission to feel. It's okay for things to be different. It's okay if you don't know what you need.
Yeah.
You don't have to have all the answers.
Absolutely.
It's okay to sit in that uncomfortable unknown with so much uncertainty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Yeah. I have to add too, it's okay if you need more than what your current circle can give you.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay too. It's okay to need more than what people can offer you. That does not mean that there's something wrong with you or that you're asking for too much. Mm-hmm. It's okay that if your needs have changed and you need something different and you're not getting that from the place where you expect to get that from, then it's okay to find that support where you need to get that support from. So the truth is that support doesn't always disappear, right? Sometimes it just evolves. But the truth about that is that evolution of that change and that support, sometimes it does hurt.
And if your circle looks different now than it did at the very beginning, that doesn't mean that you failed at your relationships. It just might mean that you've moved on from crisis into something quieter.
Yeah, absolutely. Long-term living asks for a different kind of presence from others and from yourself.
And wherever your support stands right now, we hope you know you're not wrong for needing what you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on More Than a Diagnosis. We hope today's conversation left you feeling seen, heard, and maybe even a little more connected.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need it.
And if you're looking for a place to connect with others who truly get it, join our support circle at morethanadiagnosis.org, where we will continue this conversation. It's free, it's welcoming, and it's built for you.
Because no one should have to navigate this alone.
Until next time,
keep living, keep growing, and remember,
you are more than a diagnosis.